What if I told you that not having sex could quietly damage your heart, disrupt your sleep, weaken your immune system and even speed up aging? This isn't clickbait, it's medical reality. Doctors are now sounding the alarm. A sexless life might be costing you more than you think. Part 1, The Silent Toll, How Lack of Sexual Activity Affects Your Heart and Vital Systems. Out of sight, out of mind. Not exactly. When sex quietly disappears from your life, your body doesn't just move on, it starts sending signals. Subtle at first, then louder, tension that won't go away, sleep that won't come, and energy that feels drained. What many dismiss as just aging might, in fact, be the result of emotional and physical intimacy slowly vanishing from daily life. And doctors are beginning to speak out. Because a growing body of research reveals something startling: sexual inactivity, especially over prolonged periods, can carry measurable health costs. Not just emotionally, but biologically, neurologically, hormonally, and even immunologically. Let's begin with your most important organ, your heart. 1. Your heart knows the difference. Sex, as it turns out, is a cardiovascular event. And not just in the romantic sense. Studies consistently show that regular sexual activity is linked to lower blood pressure, improved circulation, and reduced risk of heart disease. According to the American Journal of Cardiology, men who have sex once a month or less are nearly twice as likely to develop cardiovascular disease compared to those who are sexually active at least twice a week. Why? Because sexual arousal stimulates blood flow and heart rate similar to moderate physical exercise. It also releases oxytocin and endorphins, which reduce stress and lower cortisol levels, a hormone directly linked to heart strain. Dr. Martin Keller, a cardiologist based in Boston, explains. Sex is not just recreation, it's vascular training. The heart pumps more efficiently, arteries dilate, and the body learns to manage stress better. When this stops, we begin to see elevated risk markers in our patients. In other words, sex isn't just about pleasure, it's a form of natural cardiovascular maintenance. But this benefit doesn't only apply to high-intensity intimacy. Even soft touch, kissing, or sensual massage activates the parasympathetic nervous system, slowing the heart and calming the body. So what happens when this stops? The body loses one of its most natural, instinctive ways of regulating tension, stress, and blood pressure. Over time, this can manifest as fatigue, chest tightness, irritability, or even panic attacks, symptoms often misattributed to stress or age. 2. The skin and nerve connection, touch as medicine. Now let's talk about skin, your body's largest organ and its link to sexual health. When you're touched, even gently, your brain responds. It releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, as well as dopamine, which uplifts mood. That's why even a hug from a loved one can make a bad day feel a little more bearable. But here's the concern: when physical intimacy becomes rare or non-existent, the nervous system shifts into a subtle but constant state of alert. Without regular calming signals from touch, your body may stay in fight or flight mode for far longer than is healthy. Dr. Lila Vasquez, a geriatric psychologist, puts it simply. We underestimate the power of non-sexual touch. Holding hands, stroking someone's hair, these are therapeutic actions. Older adults, in particular, suffer when deprived of them. We are seeing more anxiety, loneliness, and even tactile hypersensitivity. And it's not just emotional. Your skin begins to show changes, too. Reduced physical affection has been associated with increased skin dryness, reduced elasticity, and slower wound healing because these processes are all regulated by the nervous and endocrine systems that are stimulated during intimate contact. Touch is a form of communication. Without it, the body goes quiet and slowly begins to degrade. 3. Immunity and hormone balance, the quiet collapse. Sexual activity plays an important role in your immune system and hormonal health. Every time you engage in intimacy, whether with a partner or solo, your body experiences a shift in neurochemistry. Oxytocin rises. Testosterone balances. Estrogen increases in women. All of these hormones play roles in regulating mood, maintaining bone density, improving skin tone, supporting immune cell production. When that stimulation disappears for extended periods, your body doesn't just miss the pleasure, it misses the biological signal to maintain these systems. A 2015 study published in Psychological Reports found that students who had regular sex, 1 to 2 times per week, had significantly higher levels of immunoglobulin A, IgA, a key antibody that protects against colds and flu. In contrast, hormone imbalances associated with prolonged abstinence have been linked to increased risk of osteoporosis, especially in postmenopausal women, decreased muscle mass and strength, higher levels of inflammation, disrupted sleep cycles due to low melatonin and serotonin. And it doesn't end there. Sexual inactivity can actually feed itself. Lower hormone levels result in lower libido, which leads to less intimacy, which leads to further hormonal imbalance. It's a feedback loop, one that doctors warn can be difficult to reverse if left unchecked for too long. Dr. Elaine Moore, a women's health specialist, notes, "When patients tell me their libido is gone, I don't just accept it as normal. I ask deeper questions about touch, connection, stress, hormones. In many cases, the issue isn't just desire, it's biology and loneliness reinforcing each other." The cost of silence. For many, especially older adults, the silence around this issue is the most damaging part. There's still cultural shame associated with talking about sex in later life. Many seniors feel embarrassed to admit they miss intimacy, or worse, are told that it's inappropriate or unnecessary at their age. This stigma keeps people from seeking help, even though there are now sexual health therapists, hormone clinics, and intimacy coaches trained specifically to support aging individuals and couples. Without intervention, the decline continues. And the cost isn't just emotional, it's deeply physical. The loss of intimacy can contribute to depression, high blood pressure, weakened immune function, sleep disorders, low self-esteem, social withdrawal. These aren't small issues. They affect longevity, vitality, and even the will to live. Final thoughts, not just about sex. Let's be clear, intimacy is not always about intercourse. It can be a long cuddle, a whispered "I love you," a shared shower, a massage, even shared laughter and affectionate looks. But when all forms of intimacy fade away, the body knows. It starts to suffer quietly, subtly. At first it's fatigue, then mood swings, then illness. Until one day you look in the mirror and ask, "Where did I go?" Coming up in part 2. In the next section, we'll explore how emotional intimacy, self-touch, and partnered communication can become healing tools, especially for those navigating aging, disability, or grief. Because this isn't just about staying sexually active. It's about staying alive. Part 2, Healing Through Intimacy, How Emotional and Physical Connection Keeps You Alive. When sex disappears from your life, the body and mind begin to feel the absence. But what many people don't realize is that healing is still possible, not just through intercourse, but through intimacy in all its forms. In this part, we dive deep into how emotional closeness, communication, and even solo touch can reactivate the body's healing systems, restore hormone balance, and strengthen the immune response, especially for aging individuals. Because yes, you still deserve touch, closeness, and connection. At every stage of life. Pushpin 1. Emotional intimacy, the medicine you can't bottle. Have you ever noticed how just sitting quietly with someone you love can make you feel better even if no words are spoken? That's emotional intimacy at work. And science backs it up. Studies show that people in emotionally close relationships have lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and higher levels of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This balance promotes lower blood pressure, faster wound healing, better digestion, stronger immunity. Dr. Karen Elston, a specialist in psychosomatic medicine, explains, "Human beings are biologically wired for connection. We regulate each other's nervous systems through presence, eye contact, and shared emotion. When that's missing, the body becomes dysregulated, digestion suffers, sleep becomes light, and even pain thresholds drop." For older adults, especially those who have lost a spouse or are experiencing physical limitations, emotional intimacy becomes even more essential. But here's the truth. You don't have to be in a sexual relationship to feel emotionally connected. Emotional intimacy can come from deep conversation, laughing together, gentle eye contact, doing small acts of care for one another, shared memories and storytelling. This type of connection calms the mind and body, and often lays the foundation for rebuilding physical intimacy later if and when both partners desire it. Pushpin 2. Self-touch and solo intimacy, your body still matters. Let's talk about something rarely discussed in public, solo intimacy. As we age, mobility, illness, or the loss of a partner can make partnered sex difficult or unavailable. But that doesn't mean the need for touch or pleasure disappears. In fact, regular self-touch or mindful solo intimacy can be incredibly therapeutic. Here's how. It stimulates blood flow to the pelvic region, maintaining vascular health. It releases dopamine and oxytocin, helping with mood and stress. It helps maintain hormone levels, including testosterone and estrogen. It boosts body awareness and self-acceptance, especially after physical changes due to aging or surgery. Dr. Helen Braxai, a sexual wellness educator for seniors, says, touching your own body even non-sexually sends powerful signals to the brain. I am here. I am alive. I still deserve pleasure. It helps people reclaim a sense of ownership and pride in their bodies. And no, it's not something to feel embarrassed about. Many cultures wrongly treat solo intimacy as taboo, especially for older adults. But doctors and sexologists now encourage it as part of a healthy lifestyle. Tips for safe and comfortable solo intimacy at any age. Use warm oils or lotion to connect with your body mindfully. Light candles or soft music to create a comforting environment. Focus on what feels nurturing, not just what's arousing. Go slow. The goal is presence, not performance. Even 5 minutes a day of gentle self-touch can begin to reverse the stress response in the body. And in many cases, it can reignite dormant sexual energy, paving the way for partnered intimacy if desired. Pushpin 3. Communication, the most underrated sexual skill. When people think about improving sex or intimacy, they often jump straight to physical techniques. But the real magic lies in communication. Especially for older adults where past trauma, grief, illness, or body changes can create fear or hesitation, talking openly with a partner can be life-changing. Ask yourself, when was the last time you talked about what you want emotionally or physically? Have you told your partner what touch makes you feel safe, or what no longer feels comfortable? Have you ever said, I miss being close to you, without shame or blame? These simple conversations can break years of silence and disconnection. Dr. Michael Green, a relationship therapist for couples over 60, shares. Many couples stop being intimate not because they don't love each other but because they're afraid of hurting each other's feelings, or they think they've aged out of desire. Communication reopens the door to love, safety, and even fun. What's beautiful about intimacy in later life is that there's less pressure to perform. It's more about tenderness, connection, and emotional safety. And when people talk, they start experimenting again, slowly, gently, and with joy. Try this. Set aside 10 minutes just to talk about intimacy, no expectations for action. Use phrases like I feel, I miss, or I wonder. Focus on emotional closeness first, and let physical closeness evolve naturally. Be curious. Be kind. Be playful. For many couples, this is where the healing begins. Pushpin 4. What if you're alone? The power of social and sensual living. Not everyone reading this has a partner. Some are widowed, divorced, or single by choice. But that doesn't mean you're doomed to live without intimacy. Sensual living is about engaging all 5 senses in ways that bring joy, calm, and connection to yourself, your environment, and the people around you. Some examples of sensual living that benefit health and mood. Taking slow, mindful showers with music and soft lighting. Cooking meals with herbs and spices that awaken your senses. Dressing in fabrics that feel good on your skin. Gardening and connecting with the earth. Dance even alone in your room to feel your body move freely. These actions stimulate many of the same brain areas as physical intimacy. They release endorphins. They keep you engaged in your body, which supports everything from circulation to memory to emotional resilience. And don't underestimate the power of non-sexual connection. Join local meetups or community groups. Volunteer with children, animals, or at cultural events. Build new friendships with people who value conversation and touch. You might even find unexpected forms of intimacy, like a hug that lingers just a second longer, or a shared tear with someone who really listens. It's all intimacy. And it all counts. Pushpin 5. Reclaiming intimacy. It's never too late. The truth is, many people have spent decades in relationships without deep intimacy. Others gave up on physical closeness years ago, thinking it was too late. But it's not. Healing is always possible at any age. The human body responds rapidly to love, touch, and attention. Oxytocin levels can rise after just a 20-second hug. Blood pressure drops when someone gently strokes your back. Even skin tone improves when you laugh, smile, and connect. You are not broken. You are just waiting to be touched inside and out with presence. Stethoscope closing thoughts from experts. Dr. Susan Harper, MD. People think sexual wellness is about youth, but that's outdated. It's about aliveness. It's about connection. And it's essential for healthy aging. Dr. Vasquez adds. Touch is not a luxury. It's a nervous system need. And every person deserves to feel safe, loved, and held, no matter their age or relationship status. Footprints. What's next? In part 3, we'll explore why doctors are now screening for intimacy loss as a health risk, how couples and individuals can build intimacy fitness, what practices restore sensuality, desire, and confidence even after trauma or illness. Because this isn't just about sex. It's about reclaiming your right to feel alive in body, heart, and soul. Part 3, when intimacy fades, so can your health. How to reignite connection and protect your well-being. In the previous sections, we uncovered a hard truth: when intimacy disappears, the body begins to suffer slowly, silently, but meaningfully. In this final section, we'll explore what can be done. Because no matter your age, your past, or your physical limitations, intimacy and the health benefits that come with it can be rekindled. This is not just about sex. It's about touch, trust, expression, and human connection, all of which carry profound healing power. Pushpin 1. What to do when desire has changed, or disappeared. One of the most common concerns among older adults is this: what if I just don't feel the same way anymore? Desire changes. This is normal. But it doesn't mean you've lost the ability to feel connected or loved. Here's how doctors and therapists recommend re-engaging. Heavy checkmark. Talk openly with your partner. Start by naming the silence. You might say, I miss feeling close to you. I'm not sure how to begin, but I'd like us to explore that connection again. These conversations may feel vulnerable, but they are often the key to unlocking mutual relief and closeness. Heavy checkmark. Redefine intimacy beyond intercourse. Many older couples find a powerful shift when they stop chasing what used to be and begin exploring what intimacy looks like now. That might include regular cuddling or hand-holding, showering together or slow dancing in the kitchen, reading aloud to each other in bed, scheduling quiet closeness time without distractions. Even small gestures create oxytocin loops, a feedback cycle that fosters trust, relaxation, and affection. Pushpin 2. Reclaiming sensuality as a form of health care. Modern medicine is finally catching up to an ancient truth. The body thrives on touch, closeness, and positive emotional connection. In fact, some doctors are now prescribing daily affectionate touch for stress relief, solo pleasure, masturbation, for hormone regulation and sleep, sexual therapy sessions to help couples reconnect without pressure. Dr. Rebecca Lynn, a sexual health therapist, says, sensuality isn't just about sex. It's about being awake in your body, smelling something you love, feeling the sun on your skin, letting yourself be touched by life, by love, by beauty. For people living alone or without partners, sensuality can still be practiced. Consider soft self-massage with scented lotion, wearing fabrics that feel good against your skin, Practicing mindfulness with your body during yoga or gentle movement. Listening to romantic music and letting it move you. These practices awaken the brain's pleasure centers and signal the nervous system that life is still full of nourishment. Pushpin 3. When it's time to seek help and why it's a strength, not a weakness. For some, intimacy struggles aren't just about habits, they stem from deeper wounds, trauma, or shame. In these cases, seeking professional support is not just helpful, it's essential. You might benefit from sex therapists trained in age-related intimacy issues, relationship counselors who understand later life dynamics, medical doctors who can address hormonal imbalances or chronic pain issues that impact desire. Many people are surprised to learn the root cause of low libido isn't always physical. It's often a mix of stress, emotional disconnection, self-image, and fear of rejection. By working with trained professionals, older adults can untangle these threads and rediscover a path to closeness that feels safe and affirming. Pushpin 4. Final thoughts. You deserve intimacy, in every season of life. Let's end where we began, with a truth that's too often ignored. You are not too old for intimacy. You are not past the point of sensuality. Your longing for closeness, touch, and connection is not a weakness, it's a sign of life. Whether you're 50, 70, or 90, whether you're single or partnered, whether you've had intimacy recently or not in years, you still carry the capacity to feel, to connect, and to heal. This isn't about going back in time. It's about moving forward gently, bravely, and with honesty. Because when intimacy reawakens even in quiet, simple ways, your health improves, your heart softens, and your life becomes richer. So let this be your reminder. Green circle, your story is not over. Green circle, your body is still speaking. Green circle, your heart is still worthy of being touched. And when you begin to listen, you just might hear it say, I'm still here. I still want to feel. I still deserve to love and be loved.